Hey there, guys. This is RealDiversity here. Um, we are here to talk about Uber Eats driving. I was and have been an Uber Eats driver for like a year now, per se. So I just wanted to give out some advice and tips to people if they're just now getting into it, or even if you have been doing it, you may not know some of these advice. And I have not seen any forewarning right here. I have not seen any other YouTube videos about tips or hints or advice or anything like that towards this. So I don't know if I might be repeating someone else or if I'm like if my video is gonna be similar to anybody else or anything like that. I have not looked at anyone, so it's 100% original for me. So hopefully it doesn't like tell you something like you might see in 100 other videos or anything like that. But anyways, first up, oh, and mainly this is a gaming channel, so uh we normally don't post nothing like this on here, but also at the end of the day, it is a YouTube channel, so it is for really whatever I decide to put on here, and I just decided to give out some really nice, helpful advice for anyone who is a Uber driver and or just now starting out, or if this is great advice for anyone, just in general, if you're into it. But I recommend before watching this, you actually have drove a minute or things like that before, because it's mainly for people who've already started things like that, not for like about to get into it. But I just jotted down some notes the other day. I was doing it. I usually only do it when I get to go back home, because in the area I live in now, in my college town, I don't really get, it's not down here, so I can't do it where I go to school at. So I can only do it when I go back home. But I jotted some notes down. So we're just gonna go in order here. I won't go in order. I was gonna go in order of like from start to about and finish, but we're just gonna talk about it. So first thing you want to really guys want to know is there is a very high risk versus reward when it comes to certain situations. And what I mean by that is there are times in the day where it's pretty risky, but it is a great reward. It can have a great reward. It's a risk that can pertain a high reward, like investing. You can be very risky with your investments, and it usually can turn out really good. And so, what I mean by this is risk is it's usually weather situations. So, what I mean by that, or weather in time of day, that's what I mean by risk. So, if it's raining, snowing, or anything like that, or thundering, wind is blowing real hard, just any type of really not ideal condition, whether you're outside, you don't really want to be in, that is kind of an ideal time to be out Uber driving, because not only will you have less competition trying to get orders and things like that, you have less people out themselves, so more people are at home and more people are more likely to get order off Uber when it's bad weather conditions, things like that. And it's actually going to be less drivers out around those times, so it is a very, very good risk you can want to take if you want to be in the rain or if you want to be out when it's thundering and things like that. But for that risk, you are getting a high reward in that situation. And also time of day, if you want to Uber at the dead of night, 2 a.m, 3 a.m, or 12, just 12 o'clock, just super late, you have the risk. There is, well, mainly because it's no real risk per se about the you at your well, yeah, okay, there's a safety risk. So usually at nighttime, you're more likely to maybe get robbed, or usually mainly bad stuff happens mainly more so at night than any other time of the day. So there is that risk there, but really also your real risk is going at night is it's less drivers, Uber competition, but the risk is you don't know if people are going to be wanting to order at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, stuff like that, because there's going to be very few options. So it's kind of like, yeah, you may be like you might only be the only driver out there, but if no one's ordering, then it won't matter if you're the only one out there. So, and also early mornings is the same way. You can beat maybe everyone else who likes to only come out around lunchtime and rush hour and stuff like that. You can beat those people if you come out early morning, but it's the same thing. People may not, depending on the day, a lot of people may be at work Monday mornings and things like that, so people may not be ordering too frequently. So you kind of have to more so pick and choose and know your days when it comes to that. But that's what I mean by risk and reward. So you have to recognize there are other situations too, but you have to just kind of recognize, it may be a risk, but it may also benefit you about getting orders and just being able to go, just get more deliveries per a time, per deliveries, more deliveries per hour per se. So also, if you did not notice, you only get paid. I didn't notice for a while either. So I'm just going to throw this out. Maybe a lot of people might already know this, but maybe a lot of people don't. You only get paid after you've picked up the food. So say you drive 10 minutes to go to McDonald's to get an order. You don't get paid for that time it took you to get there. It's not beneficial to always go for super long distance orders, like 10, but say like I think between like anything like less than 10 minutes and anything above 5 minutes, it's kind of you want to usually steer away from those. But never, I just says never, like never not take an order, but those are kind of the ones you like don't want to really aim for too much. If you gave, it feels like two options or something like that, because one, like I said, you just don't get paid for the time it takes you to get there. So and this is leading into another hint here. Also though, but I want to say this real fast. If it is a long drive, like 13 minutes, 14, 15 minutes for it to go to that order, it usually is a reward at that point. If it says like 15 minutes, you are usually guaranteed a certain amount at that point. So also, it is sometimes a good thing to have a long distance, because I think the other day it was like 13 minutes to get to somewhere, and I was like I was guaranteed like $6, just guaranteed $6 just from going that far out to get there. So sometimes there is in long distance, super long distances, there it is rewarding, but usually in like those like 10-9 minutes, you don't get nothing, no guaranteed money from that. But an ideal is ideal. So basically, me telling you that you only get paid after pickup is what you want to shoot for. Is ideal is you want to really be in close to areas that you can get there within like 2, 3, 4 minutes, and you get to those places 2, 3, 4 minutes, and then what you want to shoot for there, and this is completely random at that point, but you want the best thing you want is to be able to get to where you're going to pick up the food at really fast. And when you're delivering the food, you want to hope that it's like a super far distance, like 15, 10 minutes or something like that. That's where you're getting the most money and saving the most gas at that point, is when you're not having to go far, because you're getting paid from once you picked up. Now that is last I've heard. I don't know, it's been a year. I haven't talked to any other drivers in a long time and things like that, so I have no clue if it has changed or anything like that. But last I've known, you only get paid after you picked up the food. And also, if you are at the location and you're picking up the food, make sure you go ahead as soon as possible. As soon as they know you're there, as soon as they if they've seen you 1,000 times, they might not even ask for your code or whatever. But if they may need your code or whatever, don't do it yet. But as soon as you're gonna be getting the food, no questions asked, they're not gonna ask to see nothing or anything like that, or they already seen it, go ahead and select start delivery. Once you go ahead and start delivery, that is when you're getting paid. So you want to, as soon as possible, as soon as you get to your destination, you want to go ahead and click on that and go ahead and start the delivery. That way that's what you're getting paid for, is from once that starts. So once you get to where you're going, and then you're about to get the food, if you have to, especially if you have to wait, if their food's not ready, but they know what you're waiting on, who you're waiting on, that's when you definitely for sure want to go ahead and start delivery, and then you're gonna start getting paid for that time you're waiting as well. So also, okay, what's next on this? Okay, earning tips, guys. So yeah, you want to earn tips. Tips, man, is really how you make the most profit. And back then, if I made this video maybe like 6 months ago, I would just say promotion, promotion, promotion. Don't worry about nothing else but promotions. But last time I went Ubering, their promotions are been gone. I don't know if it was just temporary. I don't know if you need to be a certain Uber member or whatever to get those promotions, but I did not get a single promotion. So I'm assuming promotions are either not available no more, or they're just at certain times consistently. But as far as I know, promotions are done for, from what I've seen. So I would have just said promotion, but tips are now. Last time I went Ubering, I've never made that many tips, because it had been a couple months. I think like 3 or 4 months, and then I Ubered again. But this last time I Ubered was getting pretty much a tip every time. One out of two people were tipping me. And what you have to do in those situations, guys, is you have to force conversations. You have to start a conversation or force a conversation with the person you're dropping the food off. So you got to make it seem as if you're their happiest person in the world, and that their food was just in just the perfect hands. You got to make sure that if you can, make sure the food is as sealed as possible. Make sure it looks like it hasn't even been touched by the workers who made it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta just make sure it looks, like no one's disturbed it or anything like that. Don't even look at it. Don't ever just look at it, because you might open the seal or break, something that might look noticeable or things like that. So just keep it as sealed as possible. Force conversations with the people you're delivering the food to, and you will most likely always get a tip. I don't know if it's something in the new app that allows them to, it prompts them to tip more frequently now or something like that. But I've been getting tipped way more often than I've ever had before. So make sure you earn those tips by really being super nice to the customers and stuff like that. And also, guys, you want to drive fast. And I'm not saying go 10 miles, 30 miles above the speed limit at all times, but Uber does watch your speed. And they won't tell you this, but they like fast drivers. They don't want people who are going the limit the whole time, and they don't want people who certainly aren't going under the limit the whole time. They want fast drivers because they want to get their food as quickly as possible, because when it saves them money, if you're getting there faster, you're getting paid less. And if you're getting there faster, they're getting their food faster. So you want to really get there fast, you want to move fast, just to, so you constantly keep getting more orders, because it seems to aim for faster drivers there. And so also know your area. You must really know your area when you're out Ubering, because if you need to know, you may, the GPS to Uber GPS, as you may have learned if you've Ubered more than once, it sucks. It pretty much would take you almost every time to the wrong house, or the house right next to it, or the right house right behind it. It's never a pinpoint exact location. It sucks. So you have to really kind of look at the numbers and things like that. You have to look at way more than like the GPS to find addresses and stuff like that. So know your area, because you may be able to get, like I said, Uber pays people that drive faster. So if you can get shortcuts and get to areas faster than what the GPS is telling you, then that would be much better than following the GPS the whole time, and it's taking you maybe like twice the time to get to places when you know a faster route and things like that. And also know the Uber places. Know where and who and where, and the restaurants that do have Uber pickup. Know those places. And if you don't, if you don't want, obviously you don't want to just stop at every place, download, here's a just easy method, just download the Uber Eats app if you have not ever used that app. I never used that app. I just became a driver and never even looked at the Uber app. But the app, download the app if you have never looked at it. And any area you're in, whether you're not home, whether you're in just a different part of your city or different area like that, download the app and you can glance over what restaurants have allow you to to pick up and stuff like that. And that's how I always, when I'm in a different part of my city, that's how I always you figure it out. Is I would just open up the app, put in my current location, and it would give me like, restaurants. So I know what area and I know how close and what, spot I need to be in. And that is pretty much the best way. You will always know, if you didn't know, where, who, and I haven't, like I said, Uber in 3 months, and when I came back, there was like, I probably picked up from like 10 new restaurants that were not there or that did not Uber when I, last time I did it. So people are frequently adding it and stuff like that. Local restaurants, things like that, always seem to be adding it. So you have to kind of keep up with that. So you just make sure you glance at that app every so often. And also, not even that, not even just for to figure out what areas, but also to figure out what times. When, like I said, if you're Ubering late at night, you want to know what's open, who's still delivering. You need to go on the app, and that way you can look at, okay, so McDonald's is still open, IHOP is still open, or whatever, is still open at that late at night. Or also in the morning, you need to know who's serving breakfast and things like this. So you want to know what areas you need to be in around, not only in specific times of day, not only in just different areas. In specific times of day, you might need to be in another area than you would be at nighttime or in the daytime. So there are also small tips right there. But yeah, download the Uber Eats app, and it's just really helpful to glance at that sometimes when you're like confused there where you really want to be at, things like that. But I think that is it for now, guys. I had more, I think, earlier, but I lost the rest on my list. I didn't ever save this, so I had to make a new one from scratch, and don't know if I forgot anything or not. But if I did, sorry about that. I might leave it in the description, so check that. And also, leave a comment. I might be able to come up with a little more tips and a few more ideas if you guys leave a comment down. I might be able to make a part 2 of this video, but I hope this was really helpful for you guys. This is just things I think about all the time when I'm out driving and stuff like this. So I really hope it helps if you have not or did not know this stuff. And please hit the like button, and peace. Thank you, guys.